Button Smash. It is a video game centric podcast. So not only are we talking about video games, but we're talking about the industry and video game movies as well. Just like how we talked about the Mixer fiasco and video game reviews and stuff like that. So it's not just solely on video games, but everything encompassing their end. And joining us on the cast today, we have these beautiful gentlemen who are going into this future with us all on this ride. We've got Booster Greg.
If you're wondering if any of this success and fame has gotten to my head, my answer is absolutely.
We've got Casey.
Hey, all you out there in internet land.
We've got Jay's Mac.
Hey, I've been made a moderator finally. Biggest mistake on day one of new network.
We've got Dot Chris.
I'm just gonna keep spamming the box button on my controller until something amazing happens. It hasn't happened yet.
I'm your host, the Back of Your Funky Sergio. Welcome you guys to the first official episode of Button Smash, a video game podcast. Now, thank everybody who's been joining with us live here on twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter, which is the name of the channel now. You'll look forward to seeing other episodes on here as well. Some of our colleagues have another podcast where they talk about TV shows, movies, stuff like that. More news on that in the future, but we will be the ones running this channel. We were the ones be streaming video games and talking about games and everything we actually care about. So, more details to come soon, but thank you for joining us here on this magical journey. Yeah. All right, boys. With that being said, there is a very, very, very huge game out there right now called Ghost of Tsushima. This thing has hit the ground running, and everyone is seeming to love it. I haven't really seen too many negative reviews on it. It is a samurai game in which you play a samurai named Jin, who is fighting against the Mongol invasion of Japan on the island of Tsushima. In this game, you mostly play as a samurai with melee combat. You have some range combat in the way of bows. You ride on your trusted horse into battle as you are trying to make sure that the Mongols do not invade the mainland of Japan from the forces of the Khan. Now, this game is a PlayStation exclusive. It is not on any other system at the moment, and it is going to be on PlayStation 5. I believe they're going to let us upgrade for free if you've purchased the game. More details on that. But they're promising that it won't just be an upscale. It's going to be a fully fleshed out. This is a PS5 looking game. But for right now on the PS4, it looks beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And I can't believe this is where we are now in video games. I love playing this game and just running through the landscape. But Ghost of Tsushima, guys, upon first seeing Ghost of Tsushima, what were your expectations?
Red Dead with samurai swords, baby.
That was your first impression? Really?
Yeah, of course.
My first impression was Sekiro 2. That's like, I think literally everyone got Sekiro mixed up with Ghost of Tsushima.
Nah, dog. When you look at the developer, there's no way anybody is going to try and step on FromSoft's toes.
Yeah, and I was looking for Infamous, but samurai because Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we kind of got that, I would argue.
There's definitely some Infamous frameworks going on there with a nice new coating of awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Like I thought before even touching it, I was like, is this like, what is this going to feel like? What's it going to look like? Because I know Sucker Punch from, like Chris was saying, Infamous 1 through 4. I know it's Infamous 1, Infamous 2, Infamous Second Son, Infamous First Light. But let's just say 1 through 4 for argument's sake.
I didn't even know they made 4 of them.
First Light was like a
technically there's 3 main games,
and
then there's 2 like half games.
I stopped after Infamous 2.
And then of course there's Sly Cooper that everyone knows, and so this is going in a much more serious direction. So I was wondering if Sucker Punch could even really pull it off, because most of the games they do is, it kind of has some tongue-in-cheek aspects to it, and even Infamous, which has a more serious story, still has some humorous moments in it. So I was kind of like, how is this going to feel? How is it going to work? I was not let down. I was expecting like a Sekiro. I always call it Sekiro, but Sekiro like combat, and I was wrong, and I was happy about that. And I think what we got, which is the tagline for everything, which is what we were saying, Red Dead Redemption Samurai.
That's it, baby.
This is 100% what it is.
I had my first impression, because it had the word ghost in it. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a Japanese horror set in like, you know, like feudal Japan.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to play this game. Like, I still live in a basement, not starting tomorrow. I don't, though. So I can start playing horror games.
Nice.
But no, like I was way off base, and I got into this game and I was like, oh, this is much different than what I expected. This has nothing to do with actual specters or ghosts or anything like that. So I was more than happy with it. But I was not expecting this game to look this beautiful and be this like intense right off the bat, and I was pleasantly surprised.
When's the last time you watched a sunset in a video game and really got to bask in it?
Rust, like last week.
I knew that was coming.
Let me ask you this. When was the last time you used photo mode in a game and actually had a good time and were like trying to actually capture a decent shot?
Is this
Spider-Man PS4?
Is this the
Yeah,
point in the
yes,
podcast where
fair.
I get to talk about Animal Crossing?
No,
Because
get
I'm
out.
playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
No.
Serge,
many
you're right though, man.
animals.
Spider-Man PS4 was probably the last time I was using photo mode, when I was taking a picture of Uncle Ben's grave. Giving the thumbs up.
Deuces.
I'll find it.
The worst.
I do
Great-
keep
With
accidentally.
great power comes great responsibility.
We're off to a good start talking about Uncle Ben's grave.
Oh man.
If you guys wonder if we're gonna have the same good taste, well, there's your answer.
There it is.
Hell yeah.
There it is, right there. But yeah, I agree with Greg. It kind of gave off like Sekiro vibes or like Dark Souls. I didn't know what the comment was going to be like, but I think a lot of people, in talking to other streamers and people who love games like this, are like, oh, I thought it was going to play much different. Not like this. I
Yeah.
mean, pleasantly surprised, but something in the advertising made it seem like it was going to be a bit more Souls-like. Maybe because when they were showing off like the E3 footage, like you were in like a 1v1 duel, which you have a lot of in this game, and that seems more, you know, like aimed off is like less like a Assassin's Creed Far Cry game.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly, I kind of wish the only thing I have against the combat is I wish there was a lock-on mechanic. That's like I find myself consistently pressing in right thumbstick, thinking it'll lock on to someone, and it doesn't. It doesn't do anything.
We need
Well,
Z targeting. We need to bring back Z targeting.
So I half agree with you, because there definitely is a lock-on mechanic, but the problem is you can't break it.
Yeah.
Once you're in, it goes, but it doesn't always activate when you want it to. When you're in combat, you can't just easily, you can't always just easily break away and like run off and do something else, because you just end up like circling a person.
Wait, is there like, is it automatic though? Is that auto feeling?
When you're in there, so when you're in fight, like they hint it in the tutorial, that, you know, if you point in a direction, you don't just turn that direction, you turn into the enemy that's in that direction.
Yeah, see, I don't read tutorials. Who's got time for that? Not me.
I didn't read the tutorial.
Not
I
me.
played the thing, and they're like, "Oh, go to the guy that lights up." And so then I was really upset when outside of the tutorial, nobody actually lights up.
I want something I can control. Because like there would be times where I have like 4 guys around me, and I'm like, all right, I want to get the big guy first, and then it goes for the little guy, and I'm just like,
yeah, you gotta point in the direction, and he'll lock onto there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do it enough for me though. Like I need that like firm tactile press that is like, you activated this, it's good to go, and I'm like,
The
yeah.
game just wants you to fight baby, man.
And it's so odd to play a game like this. We have so many enemies, and you can't. Again, I think every gamer and everyone that I saw, including myself, when I played it, I tried to hit whatever I needed to try to automatically lock on, because there's so many people.
Yeah.
And the way you swing your samurai sword, it's kind of wild at first before you get used to the combat in the early stages of the game. So, and everybody else that I watched play the game, other streamers that I know, they tried doing it too. There's like an intuitive thing in the umbrella of gaming where it's just like, okay, open world game, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's a lock on mode. Okay, lock on. All right, if I hit this, I lock on? No?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the game director, game creator actually talked about this. So it's intentional not to have a lock-on system. And his explanation was, in watching samurai movies, the samurai often floats from enemy to enemy. So because the Mongols are known for being in their great numbers, and they're known for being wild, and the samurai is known for dancing around enemies, he didn't want us to be locked into one enemy and not being aware of the few other guys that are off the screen. So his thinking was, if you're locked into an enemy and there's more enemies around you, you'll have to relock and unlock. But he wants you to switch to different styles, dance in between, and that's the reason why there's no lock-on system. And I'm like,
it sounds like to me they forgot to add it in. Now they're trying to justify it a little bit. If I'm being honest with you.
Nah, I think they do. I think they do a good job. That when you're in the middle, if you think of it a circle, you just can only attack folks that are within that perimeter of the circle.
Yeah.
That are around you.
Yeah. I guess I just have too much tunnel vision in real life in order to like even think differently than that way. I'm just like, yeah, I'm fighting you, and then I'll be aware kind of of my surroundings, but I'm concentrating on this one dude first. Because I don't want to
really
like
upset the next time I go to talk to Greg and this red arrow just starts pointing down at the top of my head. Like,
wait, do you guys is there not a red arrow right there?
There is.
But yeah, after playing the game for a number of hours, I kind of got used to the combat and not being able to target on. And I get what he says with like dancing around, because one thing I love about this game, and I really want to talk about, is the combat system. The combat system in this game is, I think, a lot of fun. It's weird at first because you're not used to it. Other games have stuff like it, kind of like For Honor, right? Where you have different heroes that have different stances and different things. Like there are some characters in For Honor that have different stances, right? But you don't switch to them like you do here. But in For Honor, it's a bit more methodical. Like if an enemy's coming down for your left leg, you move your thumbstick or whatever to like the left side, and then you block and do stuff like that. And in this game, if you're facing a different type of enemy, like an enemy with a shield, you select the style that has a shield on it. And then if you're running a sword person, there's a sword icon. And as the game goes on, you kind of get used to that. It's like, okay, a guy with a shield's coming towards me, switch to that style. Okay, here's a sword guy, switch to that. Or what my buddies does, he just sticks to the regular 1v1 sword style. Yeah. And he's like, I'll get him this way, I'll get him that way. I'm like, dude, switch to the shield thing. You have a much easier time. Yeah. He's like, no, I like this style.
Shield stance all day, baby. Yeah. Shield stance all day.
It's like once I have drawn the sword, I cannot put it back in its sheath until it has tasted blood. Ow.
Oh man, yeah.
I will say the blocking.
Yeah, Chris. I was gonna say, like, do you like the wind style, like the shield style?
Oh, I like the shield style, the water stance. A big fan of it, mostly because shields are, of the enemies, they're probably the most annoying.
Yeah, they are.
So if you have that just always ready to go, it's fun. I want to talk about the blocking though. I think that I feel it feels very similar to the God of War block, but like a lot more. You definitely have like a wider error of or margin of error in this game, where blocking feels so freaking good.
Yes.
And there's plenty of visual and audio cues allowing you to really do what they call the perfect parry, where you can block and then immediately attack. I think that is my favorite part of fighting.
Yeah, it's so easy and intuitive. Even I can parry, something that I cannot do in any Souls game ever, period.
And what I like about this game, like there are different enhancements like charms, which can help you like do it easier. Like there's a charm that says perfect parries and dodges are now easier to do. And you can get those by visiting the shrine and stuff like that. But I do like that system where and it's so weird at first, because I was used to Jedi Fallen Order, where the timing of the parries was much different than this game. So I was just eating steel and arrows every single time I was getting hit. I was like, different parry, can't parry, You have to wait for the right amount of time, parry or block or step out of the way, and when you finish somebody off, oh my god, the combat's so rewarding.
Even in Jedi Fallen Order, I could never get the timing down. I dialed the freaking game down to little bitty baby difficulty because I couldn't.
Did you really? You went down to that?
Not even I did that.
Wow, Casey.
Listen, I was playing the game for the story anyway, and they're like,
that's what you get for playing Nintendo games.
I know.
You're looking at a guy who got all the achievements in all the Dark Souls, so don't get me started.
You're also looking at the guy who's put in 2,400 hours in Animal Crossing.
That's a weird Venn diagram that you're a part of.
Yeah, Dark Souls and Animal Crossing.
One's scary, the other one's Dark Souls.
It's only 1,385 hours. I'll have you know.
This month.
But
this month.
This game also has a really cool other mechanic, and that's the standoff, right? You just stomp up to somebody and like, hey, this is happening. And then they come up, and that standoff is like, I didn't realize at first, right? Because I think the first couple of enemies you face, they just go straight at you, but they'll try to deke on you, right? They'll try to make you jump first, and like you have to wait that out. You strike properly once, you can do it again. And you can gain what's called resolve, which helps you heal, which helps you out with special moves, things like that. I thought that was really cool. Also, the ability to assassinate people ninja style too, which first gets your uncle pissed at you in your own mind. I thought that was really weird how it just all of a sudden showed up, and it's like, oh, this isn't gonna honor my uncle or something like that. I was like, oh, am I gonna get shamed every time I sneak up on somebody?
So we should talk about
You're an honorless dog, Jason.
I know I am.
We should talk about some of like the cultural stuff around this, because Sucker Punch is a American studio, but they're getting a lot of acclaim from other Japanese like reviewers and people that are playing the game. And one of the big things is that they actually did bring on a lot of consultants to make sure that they were getting the look, feel, and the lore correct.
The history is all over the place, though.
Yes, it is not.
But it's not a historically accurate game. I mean,
but I mean, you have haikus in this game, and they're not going to be invented for another 400 years.
Again, it's not a historically accurate game. So just look at the Assassin's Creed games. They're all over the place, right?
Yeah.
All over. I mean, there are Assassin's Creed games, like Assassin's Creed Origins, where you go down to the bottom of the pyramids, and there's like a Destiny like star map looking room. Right, it's like
that's really there.
I mean, I'm not really playing it for the history.
It's because I'm not saying it's aliens, or
because the pyramids. Not saying it's aliens.
Definitely aliens.
But, yeah, but I get why they're selling this game on this is a part of Japanese history in which this did happen. The Mongols were invading, and this is all part of the history. But at the same time, they did take some liberties where they're just like, here's some other things that are happening, and there's some other elements too, like Casey said with the haiku, So it is kind of hard where they're just like, it's set in this period, this time, it's beautiful. And they're like, okay, but this thing here wasn't invented until later on. Yeah, but ignore that. So I can kind of see why people are kind of like, wait, but you want to do this thing, but you're also saying that.
Well, what they basically did was they took all the best things about like medieval Japan and they put it in a blender, and it's like, here's a video game.
But they do it like, I think they do it. It feels like they do it really well. Yeah. Personally, not a Japanese culture scholar. But there are times like when something's done pretty bad, you can tell, and you're like, okay, this doesn't really sit quite right. But even like the director of the Yakuza series is 100% behind this, and basically said that like Japan should have made this game.
Yeah.
But I'm a big I think it's done absolutely great.
Yeah.
Can we segue over also to visuals? How do you guys think?
There's like so much more to talk about the combat system in this game too. So
go for it.
Yeah. So part of this game, most of the game, I mean, you are a samurai and you have honor, and you learn through the story of the game that a long time ago your father went down, right? Like there was a battle, there was an uprising, and he died. How did he die again? He died some bad. The story isn't really the most is the most gripping part of this game. I want to be honest with everybody. It's not the most gripping part of the I forget certain elements. Anyway, your father died, so your uncle is now your guardian and your parent. He teaches you in the ways of the samurai. And something the samurai is really known for is honor. And when you play this game, in the beginning, the Mongols invade. You get your butts kicked on the beaches of Tsushima. You get pulled back. Your uncle gets taken. You try to fight the main bad guy, the Khan, who's brilliant. This guy, he chews the scenery, dude. Like, I love the villain. We'll talk about that later on. But in order to combat the Mongol enemies, you have to seek aid, right? It's kind of like a Seven Samurai story. You got to get your crew, you got to get your gang together in order to get your uncle back, all right? Because the Khan's just like, yo, I got your uncle, bend the knee to me, you know what I mean? I'm going to go take over Japan, so everybody on this island just follow me, right? And you're like, no, I can't do that, but you can't.
I refuse.
Let's get down to business. But you can't really do everything as a samurai. You have to sneak around and be stealthy in order to defeat the Mongols, and part of that is being an assassin, which isn't really an honorable way of the samurai. So you have this other like Assassin's Creed element of this game, and in some portions, I think it does Assassin's Creed better than Assassin's Creed does.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun doing it, and a lot of the assassination parts of this game are optional. Like when you take down every Mongol encampment to help free your people, you can go in loud, straight up. You can announce that you're there, do a standoff, or you can sneak in, use assassination techniques, use bows and things like that.
don't forget, you can also release a bear in their camp typically.
Yes.
It goes after everybody. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Dude, I love
favorite.
I love those Far Cry elements like that. Going to an outpost in a big open map, there's things in there to help you take it over, like shooting a lock on a cage of a bear. I'm like, that's straight up from Far Cry. I don't mind it because I really like Far Cry games. I'm like, that's straight up from Far Cry.
You can shoot the lock off?
Yeah, with a bow.
Yeah.
You can shoot it off.
What?
This is the first time learning of this. And that
It happened in Last of Us 2. It's happening all over again.
Yeah, and I learned that feature from playing Far Cry games. I'm like, I wonder if I can bow.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. And the bear's just like, I'm out, baby. Let's
yeah, I've been
go.
walking up and like
by that
unlocking
bear.
it and then just bailing and then like getting hunted.
If you do it that way and you jump on the cage, it doesn't move. It just stays in his cage. I did that on stream. I think it was Monday, maybe Friday, and I was just like, all right, I want to get this guy out. I'm up here already. Let's just see what happens. So I cut him free. I jump on it. I'm like, free my Pokemon, go murder everything. And it's just like, no, I'm good.
Yo, that thing will turn around and jump up on like the highest surface you can get up to. I was on top of a little like yurt, and that thing decided to turn around and just jump right up and start mauling me. And I was like, like screamed so loud on screen.
Yeah, they're pretty vicious.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the like the different styles of the samurai, and then you have all the different elements of the assassin. And what's cool is that there's so many different avenues you can go down. You can put points into all these different systems, right? And even all the stances too, they all have points you can put into. The first time I got to that screen of, okay, put points into X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, cool. And then there was more. All right, cool. And then there was more. I'm like, what? There's so many points.
It's so overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming because you're like, okay, how do I run it? What's optimal? How do I, what do I do? Like, okay, all right, just don't worry about that.
Google perfect build.
Yeah, because when I play like MMOs and stuff, you know, like you know, when you play WoW, you want to look up like the optimal setup or even like COD or whatever. Now it's like, okay, what gear do I need? What trinkets? What this? What that?
I need to beat the meta for this one player game.
Yeah, no, seriously. And I was like, all right, me just combat. Just what am I having the most fun in? Okay, I like this style. Points into that. I like doing this. Points into that. And then doing that, just not thinking about the meta. I was having so much fun. Like, so what did you guys find yourself like going down at like combat wise?
I gotta tell you, I forgot about the points up until I took back Castle Canada.
What? What?
Yep.
That's a good portion.
That's like me playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and not realizing you can change the Keyblade out until I was halfway through the game.
That's why this game was Dark Souls to me at first. I was like, why is this game so hard? And my friend Chris was just like, hey man, you should change your armor. And I was like, oh, okay.
You can do that?
I have more armor.
How did you not? How did you not know? It literally tells you.
Dude, I've been playing the same game for so long.
Got rust brain.
Yeah,
what else? Like, so like, well, what did you end up like going down for your combat performance in the game? Like, did you go down archery? Did you do more stealth?
I go
the
ghost.
defense one, right? When you're the two like big like trees that kind of branch out that have like the two options sometimes. That whatever the right one was, I think it's like defense or something like that.
Yeah. I did the leftmost one. I didn't really have a build in mind. I was just like, what? Like, I felt like pretty adequate in the game for all this stuff to just be like cherry, not to like flex against Jason's poor Ghost of Tsushima skills or anything. But
I'm great at this game. I went through hard mode.
I felt that like it's really just, it makes it a little easier, not all that much. So I was like, well, what looks cool? What can I use now? And things like that. What really spooked me, you were saying like you're not supposed to be an assassin, so like when you're an assassin at one point in the game, you get a flashback of your uncle being like, you shouldn't be doing that, this is dishonorable. And I was like, no, I'm sorry,
Professor
so
Oak,
much
you
easier.
can't ride your bike indoors.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally, they had that Professor Oak moment where it's like, you can't do this, and it's like, but I want, it's easy.
But I want to.
But yeah, so like I've been just like, I haven't been strategic with my abilities. I've just been like, yeah, this seems cool, this seems like it'll be useful later. I do end up treating it very similar to Far Cry though. I have found that comparison where when I'm at a outpost or whatever, I just kind of take everyone out as stealthily as I can with a bow and arrow, and then any one last guy I'll just take out. I'll walk in the front door like a boss, like that one dude who you know how you can like call people out.
Yeah,
I'll hit the call button, then I was like, yeah, all right, pal, it's only me and you. And then some guy I forgot about shows up, and then that's it.
You're doing it cowboy style. You kick open the saloon doors and you're like, you.
Or like
so much satisfaction though, and like sneaking around and finding the leader of whatever outpost you're in and watching him like practice his skills. like a dork. And then you're just watching him, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. You're so
I love the
dead.
fact that Greg rolls up to every fort and he's like Troy in the movie Troy. And he's like, Hector.
But I only know I'm aware that it's only that one guy in there. Like it's like everyone thinks I'm being a badass, but I'm really just like the most cautious I can possibly be.
Yeah.
It's so good. The guy comes out and he's just like, I am here, Achilles.
Going full Cyphus Cain, hero of the Imperium on him.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, there's nothing we said about like I love the different ways you can attack these forts, and the combat styles are fun. Like the bow, the long bow, the short bow, the kunai, the smoke bombs.
Yeah.
Everything is just it's so mint. And speaking of mint, the visuals of this game, holy crap! Right off the bat, in the very beginning, where you're learning from your uncle, underneath this beautiful red leaf tree, and all the foliage is falling down, and foliage falls in this game all the time. Someone who has allergies or him must be exploding when they play this game because there's stuff everywhere. I'm like, oh my god! If you have allergies, this game must be a nightmare. You're just like sitting there screaming, like I want to play this game, but making me itch. But the first man, I have to talk about specifically in regards to visuals, the opening title sequence of this game, and it blew me away. It was like something out of a freaking movie, right? Like you get your butt up on the beach, you are talking to someone who's going to help you out, and then you have to keep on moving, and then you get to a point of the game where you're like, all right, time for the game to put you in open world mode, and you hop on your horse and you're riding at this big open field, and the music starts going, and I'm like, oh my god! And the music goes up and up and up, and this big open beautiful field, and it says Sucker Punch Studio. I'm like, no, is this a title sequence? This is crazy!
Yeah.
And then as you're running, the music filters up and like da 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 da. And then you see Ghost of Tsushima, and there's this big, beautiful landscape with your horse and yourself off the left-hand side, the big, huge font with the logo on the right-hand side, and I thought it was framed beautifully, shot beautifully, the music was incredible, and I'm like, that's the title sequence? Are you kidding me? That's how you do it. That's how you make a video game.
Mine didn't look that good. Mine looked like it was an old, like, scratchy picture movie, you know what I mean? From the 1920s.
Wait, did you start the game in Kurosawa mode?
Kurosawa mode.
I thought my TV was just broken. I didn't start in Kurosawa.
That's right. At the very beginning, you can choose the Kurosawa mode. You can choose a bunch of different modes. The Kurosawa mode is the classic Japanese director. And it's a pretty cool mode, but I was like, I got to do like a second playthrough with this. I can't do my first playthrough.
Or like you beat the game and you go back, do side missions, maybe like mess around with it a little bit. Like it's not a enjoy the whole game in this mode, especially with like how vibrant the environments are.
Yeah. Cool idea, but it's not practical playing a game like this.
I'm just glad it's in there.
Yeah,
I think this kind of love-hate relationship with the visuals of this. Gotta be honest, because so the last game that we all played was The Last of Us, and Last of Us, but I'm slowly coming around because they're two very different kind of takes on environments. Where The Last of Us is much more claustrophobic, where they want to push you towards like a certain goal. But like every single texture, every single visual of that is like painstakingly done. With this game, I'm finding like a lot of the rock textures aren't the best looking, but the grass and the particles in this game are absolutely ridiculous. And this game is the name of the game is like Wide Open.
Yep.
So the big open areas are really unlike anything, especially if it's bright out. I think during that title sequence Surge, it's a little like overcast. So while visually, it's cool because you're running through that, but it didn't wow me at first until I got to a section that was like, it was bright daytime. There was leaves falling off the trees. The grass was moving, like each blade like moves independently, but with the wind and interacts with you. It's nuts.
Yeah.
The other thing that adds like a huge amount of beauty to this game is the fact that they also left out a HUD, right?
Yeah.
There's really nothing on the screen. There's nothing telling you what direction. There's no compass in the game. There's no like dumb, marker or anything like that. The marker is the wind that's pushing you that way.
I love that that's the navigation in this game.
It's
and
so
it looks
whimsical.
like it's in cinema mode all the time.
Yeah, like
And
in other games. So what we're talking about is like in other games like Grand Theft Auto, for instance, you have obviously GPS, and then when you hit a selection on the map to go somewhere, let's say you're going to the repair shop or a gun shop or whatever, you see like the yellow line in the road. Here, they obviously aren't going to do that. So they thought to themselves, what can we do that would really, really like sell you on and keep you immersed in this game? And it's the wind. Like you swipe up on the PlayStation pad, the middle pad, and the wind blows in the direction of where you're going to go. And I thought that was just so genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the wind blows.
There were some times where you were in like a thick forest. I'm like, where is it blowing? Like, yeah. And you just gotta hit your map and see where your arrow is pointing. Okay, I'm going that way. But I thought it was so it's like its own language, this game, and I thought it was such a genius thing to do. The winds are blowing, and when you come across a point of interest in this game, like a shrine or something that'll help you upgrade your skills or upgrade your map, there's a bird that flies in and kind of guides you to where you need to go. And I love that too. Yeah.
Also, once you get to said point of interest, and even sometimes if you haven't been there yet, some of them, the fast travel is pretty ridiculous. And which actually showcases the load times in this game were so quick, they actually had to slow them down so that you could actually have time to read the hint, which is hysterical. But this game loads very fast. You're almost never waiting for something to load.
Yeah, that's something I appreciate too, where they don't make you go through something dumb and like a discovery to like fast travel. It's just there right away for you. You know, if you've been there before, you can go there through fast travel. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And for such
finding like a tunnel.
Yeah, for such a big open game, like to be able to load that quickly across the map, I thought was crazy.
I will say this though, after that last update, my loads got a lot slower.
Really?
Yeah, for fast travel.
Oh wow, I haven't updated yet. That's probably why.
I updated. Yeah, don't update. Although you get new modes, but man.
And also the actual map is like super dense. Like there is so much in this game. You just walk in any direction and you're going to run into something again of interest, whether it's people to fight, shrines to climb, was the hot springs, fox dens,
foxes to pet.
Yeah.
I knew you would.
The
like
overworld definitely seems a lot more full than something like Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Great, because you do a lot of walking in these games.
Yeah.
And I just want something interesting, like maybe every 100 feet would be nice.
They did take a page out of Spider-Man's book where this game has really activated my ADD to like an extreme, because they'll be like, all right, we're gonna do a main mission. That's it. No, nothing. And then you walk over and you see like a side mission. You're like, maybe not. Then you see the bird and you're like, and then you see the fox. You're just like, all right, fine. We'll do all of this. And then maybe main mission. And it is so like close to what you need to do. And on the way, it's very rewarding. And you don't mind exploring the world a little bit more, because it is gorgeous. Like for me, the visuals in this game, the characters are fine. The character models are all right. They're not terrible. They're not up to snuff.
They're adequate.
Yeah. Well,
I believe you're looking for perfectly serviceable.
Yes, that's especially coming out of Last of Us Part 2, where it looks like most of their effort was in the emotions of those characters, right? Where here, it's all environment. You can tell they put all of their work in the environment, all of the physics. Yes, all the optimization, everything. From the sunset, like if you've seen a sunset in this game, my God, it's just like I just stare at it. I can't move.
I
don't want to move.
You'll burn your eyes out.
Oh, it's too late. They're already out.
The Circle of Life theme starts playing. Yeah. As it comes up. Oh man, but yeah, like the sprawling landscape. Like there are certain times where you just sit there and you look at it and you're like, my gosh, look what humankind has created. look at all that is beholden to us. Like this is amazing. Everything the light touches is beautiful.
All of this is yours, Simba.
Yeah.
Are any of your guys' games pretty buggy? Have you guys run into any?
No.
Yeah,
I
did when I was first defending the Forge. There was this moment where, first of all, there was something really awful. One of the Mongolian dogs got stuck in the water wheel, and it just
God.
kept like it just kept making like the horrible sound of just like, and I was like,
oh no.
oh, so I had to shoot it because it's technically an enemy, but that moment in the game, you're just waiting for enemies to keep showing up and stuff like that, and I got to a point where no enemies were showing up. There was no enemies like hiding anywhere. Nothing would, come through and like aggregate like the next part of the scene, until I ran out where it gave me that counter of like get back in the playable area.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came back, finally another enemy showed up, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it took me like probably 25 minutes to figure that out, because I didn't know where to run. So that's happened, and then just some weirdness with jumping on rocks and stuff like that that maybe are too high for you. You kind of get stuck, and you kind of get like you kind of float a little bit.
That's a gaming staple from back in the Fallout 3 days.
Yeah,
climbing rocks and trying to see which ones you can surmount.
Yep.
Yeah, I ran into very early in the game when you're following Yuna and you're kind of sneaking around. You're sneaking around the village, and the first time you kind of duck under under a house. At first I thought, oh my gosh, where'd my character model go? And later on I realized that when you go under the house, the character model goes away and it's first person view. But once we got out from under the house, like it took a minute for the character to actually render, so I had like armor with no person in it for a few seconds, and I've had a couple little stutter things like that. One of the same thing, there was like some crazy amount of drop frames in like the last cutscene I watched. So visually, I mean, I do think that with all the particles and things that interact with the wind, there's like a hell of a lot of processing in it. Nothing that makes me go, oh my gosh, this is trash, because there's just so much happening on the screen. But enough has happened in playing the game that it feels kind of buggy. Including a moment where me trying to jump and throw the grappling hook.
I've had that a couple times.
Refused to give me the prompt for like,
oh yeah,
you've had it so many times where I try to jump and hook it, and I'm just like, okay.
I don't understand. So I don't understand why you can't just like use the hook from a standing position.
I know, that would be so cool.
Because then you would have to select your stance, Greg. Obviously,
imagine different stances for the hook.
But if you
hook stance,
hooker stance,
classic samurai hook stance.
No, but like, yeah, I agree, Greg. If you were to set it up where you could equip it like a bow and hold it and like swing it, then you could aim and try to, you know what I mean, and they would have those little red banners where you could,
like Zelda.
Yeah.
Also, tangent. Another game with a grappling hook. How many freaking games have grappling hooks?
I'm all right with that though.
All the best ones have grappling hooks.
All the best ones.
If I can feel like Spider-Man or Batman in any game, I'm for it.
Games.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Everyone has it.
Yeah.
Now, not many games have these like really cool side missions in which you were like. I had a lot of fun with a lot of these side missions, right? Like open world games have side missions to like, okay, if you finish this, you get kind of this reward. But this game has side missions that really help you out, and they're really interesting. Like some of them, you can learn different move styles. You can learn like ones that are really detrimental to combat that kind of slice enemies down, and it's told to you through like a monk character or something, in which it's a tale of a past warrior who learned this style. You know, like this like this like fast like a swordsman. There's someone who learned like this. Yeah, the heavenly strike. There's someone who learned like this other thing, and all these like legendary like guys in Japanese folklore who may or may not be real. But I love how it's told through this like calligraphy, ink like tapestry kind of thing, and the art style is amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they do that for armor too, which is really cool. There's like some legendary
Gosaku's armor and
yeah.
I love how the mask is like has like a mustache.
Oh my god, that's
Gosaku's visage.
At the there's so many freaking side quests that at the beginning of this week I realized that I had gone like days without actually doing a main mission quest. To the point where, once you do these side quests, it actually gives you more technical points. Is that what they refer to them as? Yeah. And so at this point, I'm just getting to the second island, but I have like so many things that are unlocked that I'm pretty OP at this point, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I had to intentionally go, oh, right, I need to stop clearing the map. And this was something that was true with Infamous as well, is that you're looking at a map, and when you do an activity in an area, that's when it unlocks the area. In this game, there are certain moments where you'll beat something and it will unlock a larger part, but for the most part, it's where you walk.
Yeah.
But there's, oh my God, so many freaking side missions. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's amazing. Especially when you find out that like they really help you out with stuff. Like you can hover over a side mission, or if you run into a character who wasn't there in the map, they're like, oh, hey, and they'll talk to you, and it'll kind of show you like what it gives you. Like the Heavenly Strike one, I just found out of nowhere, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what? This is cool. Oh, this is a story behind this? Oh, well, let's go. And you go down the whole path, and then you get the technique, and you're like, holy crap, this is amazing. How can I get, and I've seen people like not get that yet, and they're just like, oh, okay. You know, like I watch like other streamers just like, oh, like, what are you saying, chat? Like I can get this. Okay, cool. and it helps out like in battle. And it's just, I love open world games that don't give you fatigue out of the side missions, right? Because a lot of open world games where, you know, like Far Cry, there's a lot of side missions, but they don't really give you that much. Like maybe there's certain games where you get like extra collectibles, or it's for achievements.
And they're not even that fun sometimes. Like I remember Far Cry 5, you have that like, you know, you're flying a plane through like you're playing Superman 64.
Yeah.
You're playing literally Superman 64. Everyone hates that game. Why would you put that as a mini game in your game? Like it's kind of funny the first time, but like as a consistent thing, it's like no. But all of the ones in Ghost of Tsushima that I've found have been, like you said, interesting. The stories have been like diverse. It's almost like a filler episode in like a main like series, and I really appreciate that because that also just adds to the meta of like just like anime and like Japanese culture and like that kind of feel. Like there was a side mission I love. This is my favorite side mission. I'm only again in the second island, so I'm sure there's more that I'll love. Where you find this like little town, and this guy's dressed in samurai armor, and he's just like drinking for free, eating for free. He's like flirting with the ladies. He's like having a good time. Then you show up, and he goes, "Oh crap!" and he books it right. and you catch him, and he goes, "All right, fine, I'll leave." And he's like, "Yeah, you better." And you go back to the women, and he and you're like, you know, he wasn't a samurai. You guys should be fine. They're like, "Yeah, we know." He was like nice though, so I hope you didn't kill him.
That felt like a Horizon Zero Dawn thing, which I believe that even got it from The Witcher, where almost every quest that you do, it's never just boom, go do the thing and you're done. It's almost always there's several steps to it. So that there's usually some sort of twist.
Yeah,
to make it more interesting, and that's nice.
I do love that mission where that guy was just like hanging out, like he's not really a samurai. Because one thing they don't really convey is that there's a passage of time that happens from when the Mongols invade and you have to go attack them. And it was apparent in one mission where you had to take down a Mongol camp, and the people, it's a side mission, the people were telling you, I think it was Azuma Bay. At the bottom of the map. Anyway, long story short, the people were just like, oh, hey, yeah, there's a hidden passage we used to use as kids to get in and out. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? A lot of, like, how much time has passed? Like, that wasn't really conveyed at all. Because like those camps and things were made when the Mongols got there, and they were talking about how, and they're adults. They're essentially adults. They're like, oh yeah, when we were kids, we used to get in and out of there, but now like we don't know if they found it, whatever, since we escaped and we've been living over here now. So yeah, there's like a passage of time. Like I don't know.
I think that's they found it. They just used it to get in and out of the city. I think that they've only been there like maybe like a month or so, a few.
Yeah,
weeks.
I don't think it's been that long. Yeah.
I mean, you can find a passage in and out of a city. That doesn't mean the Mongols are there. Your kids.
But they said they used to use it like when they were kids.
Yeah, not to escape Mongols. They were just being kids and using it.
But I do believe that there is more, that the Mongols have been there longer than the game. Like the game makes it feel like they've been there for like 3 days, but there definitely there is enough of a presence that they're set up.
They're a looming presence.
Yeah. Another aspect of the game that I really liked was the 1v1 duels. I mean, these things were so much fun. I love how they started off like with the dialogue, and then both warriors like sizing each other down, like those old school samurai movies, which the developers really paid attention to. Like you have like a beautiful open vista with like beautiful flowers and things like that, and then it cuts out to this like big, like huge, like wide shot. And then I love that the Japanese text that pops up and tells you what it is, like duel at Tadayori's Rest. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm about to kill this person and take their stuff. Yeah, suck it. And I love the cinematic style. And then you get into the battle, and then it's you versus that one person. You have to use what you learned, the parrying, the blocking, and these boss battles are so much fun. I tried to at one point to seek out these these boss battle duels. And there's a point in the game where there is a mission to seek out like a string of them, and it gives you something at the end. And it was so cool to go through that. Like, what did you guys think of these 1v1s?
So this one in particular, it reminded me so much of Metal Gear Snake Eater. When you're fighting, like I think her name was the boss, and like there's like flowers and everything like that, like being kicked up in the air, and you're doing like CQC with her, and you're just like beating the crap out of each other, and like it's just beautiful watching it though. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, I also like that you feel. They don't feel overwhelming. Like they're definitely they're a lot more difficult. And I think a lot of that comes to the balance of how damage is dealt out. You know, you can take a few hits. Like there's almost never a one and done, but there are like you take a good hit head on and it'll take away like more than half of your health. But you can use you know, you can hit down on the D-pad and use that to heal if you have enough stamina or whatever. They could resolve. Sorry, use resolve points to do that. To the point where they're difficult, but you don't feel like you're just getting wrecked nonstop.
Right.
Yeah, and each one of them has like. Sorry, go ahead.
You can cheese it too, which is what I've been doing. If you literally just run around in a circle, just run and run, wait for him to strike, zoop in.
What? That's what you've been doing to beat these things?
So yeah, like so this what happened is I'm not great at parrying. It's no secret. I made it very obvious, right? So like, and these 1v1s are like, yeah, you should probably parry, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not great at that. So let's play to my strengths. My strengths are usually dodging, not parrying. So I noticed that as I got further away, I could like click in the thumbstick for a sprint, and I was like, oh. So I literally just run circles around them, and they like the AI doesn't quite know what to do. So it just kind of like does his power moves and hopes to hit me. Now, if I can stay out of the range, I have to kind of like egg him on, right? So I have to like swoop in and kind of like kite him a little bit out. So if he misses me from my swoop in, I can then go from behind and then like do a combo or something like that. The exception being right before the fight in Castle Canada, that guy saw through my ruse because he's a badass. But like literally every other boss fight, let's call them boss fights, right? The 1v1s, I was able to do that pretty easily. So you can choose them.
Listen, circle strafing has been the technique for beating bosses since the days of the cyber demon in Doom.
Yeah.
You just go around in a circle, and he just can't figure it out. There's no tracking. There's no leading. You've got nothing. You fool.
I like to think I'm like a Naruto kid in like feudal Japan, just running around with his like, arms behind him.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm all about the parrying. I sit there and wait for them to attack, and I do have my finger on the circle, waiting for if there's something you can't block. And that's a good thing. They have the visual cues where if the weapon lights up in red, it means you can't block it. You got to dodge it. Eventually, you start to unlock things where certain things that you couldn't block before you then can parry. They go like a white or blue. So I just sit there waiting for them to make their move, and then I either I have one finger on L1 to block and another finger on circle ready to dodge out of the way, pending that's what's coming my way. But feels good, feels actiony, puts me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, it really does. I love these encounters, dude, especially like the vistas that they take place in. They range from like forests, open fields, like foggy, like bogs and stuff like that, where it's just like your silhouettes that are being shown. And like, do you really pay attention to like the old school like Japanese like samurai and like martial arts movies? And I love that I'm able to like I love that I'm able to like live that out, because I'm a huge fan of those movies and that style. And I love just popping on this game and just going off in the world and just doing those missions. Not even like the main missions, just like finding these things, or even just traversing with my horse over the open plains. And it's such a good feeling to get a game like this. Like, I think Sucker Punch really knocked out of the park with certain aspects. Well, one thing I think is kind of weak is the story itself. It's okay. It's serviceable. I don't really vibe with it that well. As the story is going on, I find myself kind of looking off into my other monitor or whatever. Like, not because I think it's like tremendously boring, but I'm like, okay, the dialogue is serviceable. The voice actor is doing an okay job. I think the guy who plays the Khan, I forget his name right now, is incredible. Every time he's on screen, the main baddie, I'm like, oh man, here we go. He's so
he was
good.
In Glee.
Yeah,
when he like the original coach in the show Glee.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
I was
awesome.
like, I've seen this guy before.
Yeah.
Where have I seen this dude in freaking Glee?
When he sneaks out of Castle Canada and he goes to like another fort, another part of the island, and he's like, "Hey, it's me! Like, you guys gonna let me in or what?" And I'm like, "Oh, this guy's, this guy's surly. This guy's big time surly." If you pay attention, like close attention to the story, though, you notice that everybody loses their rice. Like, you run into a side mission, this lady's like, "Yeah, I lost my rice. Can you go find it for me?"
Except for that one lady who's like, "I haven't had rice in forever," even though she just lied to you and tell you that someone stole rice.
There definitely is a patch of side missions on the left side of the island that are like all about rice.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is super weird, guys, but I get it. Like, they're like, "Yeah, my brother stole rice from me and he went and sold it for gambling money, and these bandits came by and stole rice from me, and I haven't had rice in years. 5 minutes ago."
The and the guy who does the voice of the samurai master with the bow,
Ishikawa.
That dude's, he's from the Adharma Initiative of Lost.
Yeah, I saw him. I was just like,
what?
Yeah, I was like, I know that dude. I know that voice.
Yeah, his name is Francois Chow, I think, something like that.
You never forget your first Francois.
Wow.
He's also on The Tick, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, he is.
He was the stepfather. He was Arthur's stepfather.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
That is the new live action The Tick, not to be confused with the old live action.
We can't go into that in too much detail, Casey. This is a different show.
That's right.
Are we going to talk about what's probably Greg's favorite part of this whole game?
Is it the foxes?
Well,
that's my favorite part of the game. Okay.
The only reason is that even though it's not a dog, it's basically a dog, and that's your horse.
Yeah, I like the horse a lot. I've accidentally shot it though, or sliced it.
Same. I've done it so many times. I'm like, I'm sorry.
So the big thing with the horse for me, again, is like a control. I'm like complaining a lot about this game. I really do really like this game. But like, I feel like every other game I've played, it's R2 to get on the horse, not like any other button. No, it's something else. It's triangle. Yeah. See, now my brain's figured it out, so I haven't done it in a while. But it's R2 in this. So like, I walk up to it and like, again, in like a game where I have a sword, usually I think I'm just used to Sekiro at this point, if I'm being honest with everyone. I press right trigger and I go on. I press triangle, I slash. But triangle for me is activate something, which is probably from Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I think for the most part, the controls of this game, what you normally would use triangle for, they switch it with R2, and R2 is your primary interact button.
Yeah. I've definitely messed up a couple times where I'm like instinctively hitting something from another game, and it's like, nope, this is Ghost of Tsushima. It doesn't work here. And
like the first time I slashed the horse, it was like a power slash too, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I've jumped off the cliff with the horse, and it fell down, and I thought it was laying there for like a good second or two, and I was like, did I fucking kill you? I'm sorry.
You all right, buddy? Come on.
I'm so sorry.
You can do it.
And then he just got up and goes, "Yeah, I'm good. No, it's cool." It's kind of like that embarrassing moment. Like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Yeah, just had a fall." The horse is wonderful. I like that you can choose your horse in the beginning. You have the choice of a white one, a black one, and then like, I don't know, it was like a brown,
like a brownish
one.
one.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I chose the blah 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 one because I like the idea of having like the poor man's horse, but like being a secret like amazing samurai,
the sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the drunken master type where like he just walks into this like really bad and malnourished horse, and the horse is like just starts flexing randomly when it's time for battle. And so do you.
What did you guys name your horse?
Nobu.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Mine's
Kage. Kage, yep, because anime.
Okay.
Because you're a hoe.
Horse Kage.
No Funsaiki from G Gundam.
No.
Well, they give you have to choose the name from like a list because they actually voice act it. He'll actually say, "Good boy, Nobu.
Yeah,
you're a good horse." It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like I really like my horse. I especially like that he has the same magical abilities that like the Red Dead Redemption horse has, where I can just be literally anywhere in the world and whistle for it,
Shows
and
up.
he's there.
He knows.
Okay,
Or
he
Assassin's
loads
Creed.
quicker when he's further away. If he hasn't
Yeah.
been rendered into the area yet, and
Yep.
you call him, he shows up quicker than if he's in the area and you call him.
So I haven't done any combat on him though, because I don't want him to get hurt other than by me by accident.
Oh, I love it. There's a move you can get where you can just jump off the horse and immediately like stab someone. It's
I gotta
so
get that
good.
move.
You just
Gotta
gallop,
get
gallop, and
that.
it says like hit triangle, and you're like, ah! You just jump off your horse and stab. I'm
that's
like,
cool.
yeah, let's go.
Oh.
Dude,
I didn't
it's
realize
so
how
good.
to dismount off the horse. I was just always hitting X, so I was just leaping off.
Wait. There's a way to get off the horse without jumping?
Yeah. It took me like 2 to 3 hours to realize that.
What?
3 hours later.
Can you like Princess Bride land on your horse?
No, I don't think so. Because you have to hit the prompt for R2 just right. That's another thing about this game. It's very sensitive about like when it'll let you actually do something.
Mhm.
So I've had it actually kind of like feels nostalgic for me because I'll go up to something and I'll hit R2, just be like, yeah, hey you. And then it'll be like, no, you didn't. Be like, all right, let me stand in this exact spot and then R2. And then I'm still a little off. So all right, let's move and do the hokey pokey and then R2.
And you turn yourself around. That's the Ghost of Tsushima.
And sometimes you have to be in front of someone, but sometimes you have to be behind them. So
Yeah.
it's really confusing when you walk up to the front of someone and go, where's my prompt?
Yep.
Where's my prompt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also do like that you can collect resources from on top of the horse. That's phenomenal.
That's
Yes,
so good.
dude. Just galloping through a forest and you see like some wood or some kind of like bamboo, whatever, just like highlighting. Like, oh, I'm gonna go over to get it, and you just keep going and just collect it off your horse. I'm like, that's so great. You just kind of
Need to
snatch it
unlock
up and
that
keep
ability
going.
in Horizon.
Yeah,
Just get it in this one.
yeah. This game, I just have so much fun popping it on and playing it. There's another aspect to talk about too, which is
How much it borrows from Okami. And here is a bullet pointed list of many things. No. I'm just but this game does really make me want to play Okami, though. I love that.
I've never played Okami. I haven't touched it.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
That game, it plays just like Zelda, so you already kind of, really know what you're doing.
Mhm.
The visuals are, it's beautifully cel shaded. It's got a lot of the sort of drawn aspects that this game plays on too. It's fully immersed in Japanese culture. You fight a literal pantheon of deities, and you meet a bunch of Japanese mythological figures. That's a love letter to Japan, just like this one is. Although that was made by Japanese developers.
I do think it's very interesting that this game has gotten a lot of praise, but a lot of flack. They'd be like, well, this should not have been done by an American studio, is some of the criticism I've been having because of things like, like haikus weren't made yet. It's not historically accurate. But at the same time, I'm just like, I feel like Assassin's Creed 3 was not historically accurate to the United States Revolution.
I
So
mean,
No, that was
have you ever
super
played
Boston.
a Metal Gear game?
it was so
come
Boston.
on.
Matt Damon was in there, Ben
Fenway
Affleck, Mark
Park was in
Wahlberg.
there, dude. There was Dunkin' Donuts all over Assassin's Creed.
Aerosmith did the
But-
goddamn theme song.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, like I think the game was done well enough to where
Yeah.
I think it was okay. Because I mean, at the same time, it's like, okay, well, look at Assassin's Creed Origins. Was that made by an Egyptian development house?
No, but like it's one of those weird things that I mean, I probably shouldn't have brought it up because I don't want to dwell on it too much, but like it just like triggered me. I'm just like, it's a game. It's not like real. It's not a textbook. It's not trying to rewrite history. It's just like an enjoyable experience, open world experience.
Yeah.
Where your horse is immortal and he'll never die and he'll outlive you.
Thank God.
Dude, I've
That's
jumped
the dream,
I've
isn't it?
jumped off a cliff and I have the ability to like if you're high enough, like you'll die, but if you're low enough, like off of like a cliff or whatever whatnot, you can get an ability to just like roll and you'll survive. So I'm just like, all right, leave my horse up here, traveling, getting this thing, okay, grabbed it, going off the side, roll, and then I call him and he's right there.
I've tested
He's
the
like right there.
I've tested the limits of that roll. It's not infinite. I've like just jumped off a huge cliff and I was like, let's see.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I think he just like suffocated before he hit the ground
No,
because
see,
like,
that's
no,
the
you're
thing
dead.
is, you parkour hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah.
So you can't just jump off a building and action roll.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Do you
You
guys
don't
think
know the secret.
that this is the birth of the ninja, by the way? I don't know if they've.
Can't tell if Jason trolling or
Because I mean, like
not.
who's to say that there aren't a ninja already existing in this world? Because we're just on Tsushima. We're not on the Japanese
Right.
mainland. So
They're just on an island, yeah.
exactly. So they could be there. And the developer was asked about, the game director was asked about, expansions and things like that. Expansion. And he said there was really no plans now. And there's he said, Jinsekai is not in a place where we're thinking about, people are like, oh, are we going to the mainland of Japan? Are we doing this? We're doing that. And he's like, well, we're trying to fix, he said they're trying to fix all the bugs and stuff that exists right now.
Smart.
And trying to continue to make the game the best thing that they can, and then talk about what's possible in the future.
Expanding after,
Like they're saying how I forget her name, the one who's been helping him most of the time, and she teaches them the way of the assassin. Yuki?
Yuna?
Yuna. Yeah. Because people were asking, hey, can she possibly be another Ghost as well, another playable main character? Because Sucker Punch has made games like Infamous where they do DLCs and stuff where you're a completely different character. They did it with Infamous, where you were a completely different character, but you kind of had like the neon ability. Then it was some of the other games where you're it's another side story, nothing to do with the main character, but you're in that world. You drive the main character. So maybe you play as her, and she has the gameplay is greatly different because she's not a samurai, but she can still hold her own, and she uses far more of the assassin's tree than he does. Maybe you get a new DLC off of that.
That's actually been a trend in Sony games specifically that I've been noticing now that you bring it up, because Uncharted did it, Infamous did it, and now people want this game to do it.
Assassin's Creed did it too with Black Flag.
Last of Us as well, the Left Behind DLC.
The Last of Us, thank you. Well, although I would argue that Ellie is still a main character.
Yeah, but it was a side. I would argue it was a side mission, not the whole
Fair.
game.
Fair.
Although, even though Left Behind only a few hours, but regardless, it's a similar thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of the trend with the Sony original or exclusive titles, I should say.
Yeah, I would say people are asking, oh, should I? There's a lot of people have been asking, when I'm playing some other games, hey, you have that Ghost of Tsushima game, how is it? Should I buy it? Should I wait until it goes down in price? How much game time am I going to get out of it? So would you recommend this for people who are I need a game right now, I don't have anything going on, and I kind of want to pick something up, or should I wait? So what would you tell that person?
I've already recommended it to people.
Yeah.
I've always just said, there's no other, at least if you only have a PlayStation, there's no other games coming out for you for a little bit of time. So you have more than enough time to sink your teeth into this game, especially with everything going on in the world. A lot of people are still working from home or unemployed or stuff like that. You're going to get a lot of time out of it. You're going to get your value out of it for sure, if that's what you're worried about. It's a great game. It's maybe not the most polished, but it's fun. And it's interesting and it's beautiful. You could just literally go into photo mode. I don't do photo mode in games. I've done photo mode every time I've streamed this game at least twice.
Nice.
Just because it's beautiful. And I think there's honestly, if you're a fan of the samurai genre, I think you're going to really enjoy it. And if you have other games, there are other games on PC and stuff that are out, but for me, this has captured my interest for quite some time. And I don't usually 100% games, especially when I'm streaming them, but this one might get close.
Well, it's estimated 52 hours completionist.
Oh, wow.
Well, so I plan to at least do
hold on a second.
all the side missions at least.
Learning something from me?
Wait,
no.
Completion. I mean, I'm looking at
not really
to.com, I'm on it all the time. But
it's very rare for me to want to beat a game. I will say that. Spider-Man was one of those. I want to do everything there is to do, unless it's a really tedious thing and it's there just to be tedious, then I'll skip it. But yeah.
Well, that's definitely an Insomniac Sucker Punch thing, is that they make it pretty easy, and they show you on the maps where to get everything. So you don't need to go look stuff up online.
I don't need game facts no more. I don't need no
game for cues.
They'll mark everything on the map so that you can do stuff. And that was one thing Spider-Man took right out, right from the pages of some of the Sucker Punch and Infamous stuff. That it's easy enough for someone that doesn't want to work super hard to get everything, to be able to clear the map and clear all the side missions.
Yeah,
that sounds like me.
You'd have to be crazy to do something I don't know, find all the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. You'd have to be some kind of insane person with no life and only Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, if this game, it makes all the things you do fun. I haven't found anything really tedious when it comes to the side missions and stuff. I mean, if there's ones that when you mouse over, like you read, like, oh, I kind of don't want to do that, you can move on because there's 100 different other side missions.
Yeah.
But even then, like that side mission, you're going to get like a pretty good story. You're going to be engaged in really good combat, and you're going to be in a world that you love looking at. And that's pretty much Ghost of Tsushima. Any final thoughts from Ghost?
Just glad it's not spooky.
Spooky game.
Play it. It's fun.
Play it. Yeah. I'm glad I picked this up. This was something that was on my maybe list, and then I just was like, you know what, screw it. Let's just do it. And I'm not regretting it.
It's worth the wait. Like from when they actually announced this game, it took a long ass time for it to come out, but like it paid off.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Yeah. Step 1, play. Step 2, it. Repeat steps 1 to 2 until you play. Keenan's kid. All right, guys, that's all we have for this episode of the Button Smash Podcast. Yeah,
Hey.
getting used to saying that. Whoa, that's crazy.
It's
Dang.
hip, it's now, and it's wow and how.
And there goes all our credibility.
And
Right out the window.
there,
Thank
and there
you,
it goes.
Casey.
All right, he got it from the back of a cereal box. Yay! All right, guys, that's it for our episode today. Tonight we had Mr. Booster Greg.
Hey,
Hey,
I
we had.
guess. I don't know.
Yep, there we go. We had Doc Chris.
You had me.
Yeah, Jay's Mac.
Thank you guys.
Stevie's Casey.
Hey.
Thought you were gonna do more.
No.
I
I had my bit. I did my bit.
I love how you're trying to think of something, but when it comes to that, you're like, nope, that's me.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
No, I used.
Are we retiring the howl tonight? Do we give it one final a woo?
I'll tell you what, I am retiring though.
No, you're not. Don't even pretend like
Retiring
Not
this
even-
hat.
Oh, all right.
All right, good job for the audio listeners.
Good job.
And I'm your host, back in fucking Sergio. Thank everybody who's been tuning in, watching on Twitch, and looking forward to what we have more to tell you in the future. Details coming soon. Thank you for sticking with us. It's a bright future ahead, and we are excited that you're here along with us. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later, or we'll see you another time.